Recorded. So the lab exercise, the lab 13, it's called. So lucky 13, I believe that's our last lab. And it's not a lab where you create a new website or a new web page. You take an old web page and website and you tweak it. And so there's several pages in this website, which are referred to here as the index page, the shop page, the single product page, and there's some style. Aha, your boss is a so so you have to find the blue color and change it to dark orange. All right, so what does that mean? This is the target, what you want the website to look like. You want it to look like this with the dark orange. So you can see that dark orange color there quite clearly. Now, on the other hand, if you look at what are you receiving? So what are you receiving? You will be able to go to a link. There's a link there, and it refers to, let me just find it here. Labs. And yes, it's this one here. So lab 13. Don't know what the lab 13. You've got this. You should find on a link on the website. And I think you're seeing the entire screen, right? So if you look here for today's work, there's a link there which says Ustora. I don't know how to say that, but whatever, something like that. Ustora. So Ustora. When you click on that link, you should be able to download, and you'll end up with this file here, which is a compressed folder, which has lots of things inside it. And so when you uncompress it, you'll see something like this. So this is your starting material is this. So you need to have a nice place on your computer where you can work with this stuff. And so, for example, when you look at the index page, the home page looks like that, but you want to make it look like this. So that's what you're going to do. Yes, I'll mark the roll again in a minute. So you can see we've got blue here, and you need to take the blue and change it to dark orange, and you do that in the style CSS file. Now, what I notice in the Ustora folder, oh, this is so handy. So we don't have to go searching around for stuff too much. Oh, look at that, eh? We actually have a style file right there. And no doubt. Now, it might not be too, well, I'm trying to open that. I'll open it with, it might not be too obvious to you what the color blue is, because it's probably got some numbers in it. But if you go, oh, you got so many things there, right? The body, have we got something there for body? Right at the top, body doesn't say about color. You need to somehow find that color. Main area might be there, right? Background, none, but here's a color. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the color blue, in which case you'll replace that with the color. Oh, that's only the main menu. You need to find in one of these classes which represents the entire main area. Could be that, eh? Main area. So I'm not sure what, I think that's white. So we don't want that. And also that's a color of a color. There's a difference between color, background color, and color, right? Color means the text, whereas background color is the thing that you're going to be looking for. So there's a bit of looking around that you have to do, I guess, to find it. I'm just looking now to see if I can see well, another way is you could just look at the, is this it here? Yeah, you could look at the HTML and sort of find where you want to. So there's the HTML for this. The body starts here. I would have thought the color would be there. Now we've got a class which is the header area. One thing that you can do if you go, well, you know what, I just can't find it. Well, one thing you can do if you just can't find it is open up this. Now, this is not a proper website, right? This is a website that's sitting. What I mean is it's not a proper published website. It's a website that is sitting in on my C drive. But I can still use the tools that I have available to me with my browser. My browser has some neat tools. What I want to find out is what is this? How am I getting this blue color? And so what I could do is I could right click and I could do the inspect element thing. Then I could click on the blue thing and see where it sort of shows up. And it should, as long as I've got elements highlighted, it should show up somewhere as highlighted. Is that H1? So hold on. Well, when I hover, it's different when you hover or you don't hover, right? That's not actually working the way I was hoping. The other way to do it is to, if you highlight on something that you think it is, it should highlight on there. Yeah, so I mean, well, the other thing is that, all right, yeah, so that's the whole body. Yeah, you're just gonna have to sort of play around with it until you find the thing. And but working with that, you can find it in there. I'm sorry that it's not as easy as it sort of looks. Or oh,
Can you find another way to like find it? Because I feel like it's gonna be a headache to do
well,
it.
the other way you could do it is you could copy all of the text from here into your Microsoft
Could you?
Word.
I I think it's going to be better if you open it in Visual Code, because like
Yeah.
there
Okay.
in small boxes they can appear like the colors
Well, why don't you
when you
do
click
that
on.
then? Okay, so I'm not going to solve this one for you, but that's a good idea as a way of solving it. Another thing that I would say is if you want to sort of find something like color, if when you see a color or whatever, look, so you see when I highlight on a container, you can see where the end of that container is, and you sort of seen that kind of thing too, right? Um, but the other thing you could do is you could take all of this text and you could put it in Microsoft Word and do a search. Find, replace. That works. Uh, I don't know if they have something like that in Visual Studio Code, but I wouldn't be surprised. So you probably find something in here. Select all, begin, select, indent. Anyways, it's yeah. There's a lot of things there that I haven't used, but I mean, I know in Microsoft Word you can search and find it. So as I said, this one's a little tricky from that point of view because I'm not actually going to solve this one for you. I'm going to let you go ahead and do that. But there's a couple of things that you can use. One is you can inspect the elements and you can see what's happening with the elements that way. Another one is you can do whatever searching you can in here. And I don't mind what tool you use. So some of it is just using sort of common sense as well. So for example, if you look at the things that you're supposed to do here, so it says find the Historia logo file, uh, uh, or replace it, rather it says. So what that probably could just be done by going into the index, and you could see, oh, well, there's a logo. Maybe I don't know if that's a logo file. It's either that one or one in the image. And if you find one that says logo, yeah, there we go, logo. You could take that file and delete it, find another image somewhere else, and just searching over the internet, find something that looks the way you want it, and save it with that name. And you wouldn't even have to touch the HTML. That will actually just change the look of the logo. But because we found the logo, that looks like it's probably a candidate for it. That one right there. So you could probably just change that, and if it might be this one too. I don't know. So you could change them both, right? Well, no, it's not this one because this is what the page looks like. So that looks like the candidate there in the image directory. And so, I mean, that would be kind of easy. You don't even have to touch the code. Just find the image and replace it with another image with the same name, but the image that we want. So another one. So talks about the shopping cart, and it's got a number.
What? Sorry, I didn't understand about the logo.
Okay, so that's because, well, look here. Do you see here? This is Ustora, right?
Yes.
They don't want that logo anymore. They want it to
They
be
want to
another.
replace it.
Yeah, they want to replace it.
Okay.
So when I look in the images, I see that logo. So I'm going to delete that logo, but I'm going to remember its name. And I'm going to put another logo in there with the same size so I can see the size of this. So when I get the other logo, I'm going to save it the same size, but it'll, well, the same width anyways. So this one is 176, similar size. It could be 100 by 100 or whatever. So it fits in there. And it'll just be a different one. So I could do that just by doing a Google search, right? You know, you go onto Google and do a search for an image that looks good. Just don't steal somebody's copyrighted image. That's what I recommend. Then the next thing it asks you to do is to change some things in the shopping cart. So you see the shopping cart here. The cart is there. It's got $100 and it's got 5 things up here in the corner. So if you could find the cart in your code, and actually maybe the easiest way of looking for that is just to look for the number 100. Oh, there it is. There's 100, and then you just double check. Yes, this looks like it's well, shopping item. Yes, cart HTML. So that's pretty good. Yeah, but what's the div? The div is this thing, which is, yeah, is the site branding area. Anyways, it does say cart here, and that's actually this bit of that bit of code is showing this thing here. And there's $100, so you could change this with the word empty because it asks you to do the word empty. Then look in the and see if you can see nearby the number 5. And yeah, sure enough, it's got this thing called product count and the number 5, and you just change that to the number 0. And that actually would meet the requirements that it's asking you to do here, which is change it from 100 to empty and 5 items. No, don't show any items. So we just change from 5 to 0. So you get the idea, right? Now the next one, remove the slider from the proto in the main content of the okay. So the slider appears in many places. And so if we look in the code, this code has been properly documented within in code sort of commenting. So we can see, like, for example, this part here, that's a comment about branding site. If we go down and look at some more, okay, we got a slider. That's the kind of stuff. So anywhere where there's a slider, we're going to get rid of it. Now, what I would recommend you do is, there's 2 ways you could do this. You could just say, all right, all of this is a slider, and I can see the class is called block slider. I'm just going to delete all that. I wouldn't recommend that you do that, because that's just a little bit sort of harsh. If you delete it and it's got some code that you needed, and now it's gone. You know what I mean? So 2 approaches that I would take, possibly that'd be a little bit more sort of conservative. And I mean that in the way of conserving your code so you don't throw it away, so you don't have to do it again. One is you could just put in a comment. So you could just say, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to disable this code just by commenting it out. So this is the start of an HTML comment. Everything that's green is now turned into a comment. It will not be processed by the browser. So that's the same as if I deleted it, except I haven't deleted it, and I can easily restore it just by removing that thing. Now the way the comment works is it starts like that and it ends like it ends like that. So the stuff that's between them is the comment. But it seems that in this particular case, there's that sort of comes down to here where it sees the next one of those. So yeah, so that's the idea of a comment. I would use that as a way of removing code rather than sort of deleting stuff. Now, at the end, when you've finished all your editing and everything and it's working perfectly, then by all means delete it. But if you still want to be a little bit more careful, you could just leave it in as a comment, or you could even cut it instead of deleting. Cut it, open up a new file, notepad file and save it and just call it sort of deleted stuff or something, so you could go there and open it up and you get it again if you wanted to. So that's that's a little tricky. You're going to have to find those parts of the code and disable them. So I'm not going to say delete them. I'll say disable them. It says remove, but yeah, I would be careful about deleting. And yeah, then there's some other things, right? Fix the menu. So fixing the menu is kind of the same thing. So basically what you're going to do is find the menu somewhere. Now it looks like in our code here that we've got, I think it might be this menu here. And so that's really at the very, very start of our code. So if we looked at that at the very start of our code, that would be at the top of the body. So that's a point of reference is the top of the body. And yeah, sure enough, there's a menu right there. And that actually looks like the menu there. Now there's more than one menu. There's several menus, I think. So you may have to change a few of those. Yeah, so that's the things to do there. Now, on the CSS, it does say in the style change that, but just be careful, because the standard way of doing CSS is actually to put it in a CSS folder. Just make sure that when you're changing, and you know what I'm showing you this because there's many different files for CSS there. Now it could be that the background color. Well, here's a change of a background color. So you know the numbers, how they work is 0 is like black, and F is like because it's a hexadecimal code, right? And FFF, or sorry, 000 is black, and then FFF is white, and then the three numbers stand for red, blue, green, right? So if it was just all F's, and F00, I guess, would be blue, red, I guess, and then 0F0 would be blue. Is it blue? Red, blue, green? Anyways, you can work it out. I can't remember exactly, but that's how it is. You have three standard colors that you work with, and these numbers represent the strengths of those colors. And so hexadecimal is represented in more than one way, right? Here, that would be all white, I think, FFF. And so this is white text on a kind of dark color that may be blue. Or gray, because they're all the same, right? So that'd be a light gray, I think. Maybe a kind of a dark gray. So almost a black, actually, because 000 would be black. All right. How are we doing? I might stop here because we're. So you've got 3 or 4 pages that you have to work on. Start on the index page. That'll also require, yeah, we'll start on the index page. So you're going to have to find each of these things, find the menu, and just change things to the way they are. So this looks like you might have to delete one part of the menu. So it says the menu, so home, shop page, cart, and contact are there. So this is a different menu. You might have a cart, check it to say, yeah, whatever. I don't know if, oh, here's the menu here. It's this menu here that it's referring to. So let's go back to that. What do they want? They want home, shop page, cart, and contact. So you're going to go to this menu and you're going to delete a lot of stuff. Single product, checkout, category, others. You're going to have to delete all those menu items. And so that's pretty near the top. That's good. It's just after this part here. So that's going to make it easy to find relatively. You're going to go and see. That's the wrong file. So it's not this menu. It's the one below it, right? Yeah, that's below the drop downs. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, just right. So I think it's these little drop down menus, one for the currency, one for the language, and yeah, so it's after that, because we saw that it's below that, so it's got to be after it. So here it is here. So this menu here, you're going to delete some of these menu items, and you just And as I said, if you're worried about deleting them, just comment them out, right? Comment it out. When you start the and so that's a way of deleting one of the menu items. So when you save that, that menu item won't come up when we look at that page after that. So that kind of thing. And yeah, fix the navigation menu so it's the same. So you're going to have to do, this is the navigation menu that it's referring to. You're going to, so you could actually make this navigation menu like this, get it exactly how you want, and then sort of copy and paste it into the other files. So you've got 3 or 4 other files there that you have to do that with: the shop page, the single page. Shop, are you there? Yeah, there, shop. So if we looked at that and we looked at the code of it, it should have the same menu sort of in the same place. Yeah. So you could take the menu from the other code and just put it in here, or you could just do it manual. Sure, that won't be too much trouble for you. So that's the kind of thing you've got. You've got a little bit of editing to do. As I said, I'm not gonna really solve it for you. You can kind of do that. The style. Now, just be careful with that style. You can see which style is being used. There's a lot of styles here right in the head. So we've got these. It does actually link to that style sheet in the same directory. So it might be the one that you need to edit. I think it probably is. So that one is found here, and yeah, we've already got that one up. And so you just have to find which one of these things works for the entire page. I thought we would put it up near the top. That's how I'd do it if I wrote this code, but I didn't. It's a lot to sort of search through. That's might be the biggest one. So, maybe if you, as I said, if you took this through and put it into a Word document and then did a search, you could search on background color. Or you could just manually scan it. Okay, where's the background color, right? This one doesn't seem to have a background color for body right there. So that would have been nice. Well, it isn't the body, is it? It's just these sort of blocks of code that you need to do. Right. So the other task is to do assignment 4. You'll find a link for that on your D2L, and that assignment 4 is a Word document there with like a question, and then you've got space for like write a couple paragraphs to answer the question. And it's sort of questions like, how do you do forms in HTML, and what is a form, what's the purpose of a form, that kind of stuff.